Hello and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Our focus is on the Northwest today, but first, our top stories. Political leaders from different wards in Obiako local government area in Rivers State have shown their solidarity for the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, in a protest march. The protesters were at the Rume Civic Center in Port Harcourt, the state capital, and the likes of Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Mr. Ngundu Chinda, Factional Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Martins Amirele, and former Council Chairman, Mr. George Ariolu, led the movement. They demand that the Inspector General of Police, Secretariat, continue to occupy the councils and not succumb to any form of intimidation.
We are in support of the position of the Nigerian police. Yes, sir. The Inspector General, under the leadership of the Commander-in-Chief, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has helped to bring peace to Rivers State, even when there are provocative actions that could lead to breakdown of law and order. And so for us, we want to encourage the Inspector General and his men to continue to bring peace and order in Rivers State. We want to call on all to abide by the rule of law. Let public office holders understand that they must obey the laws of the land. And as a people, we are taking a peace walk through our local government this morning to talk to the people, to demonstrate our support for peace and order.
What we are saying this morning is that we stand by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
What we are saying this morning is that we stand by democracy, which has enshrined the principles of separation of powers. Indeed, Rivers people have woken up, and I'm happy that at this point in time in our history, people are getting more enlightened. People are beginning to demand that the rights be done at all times. Any attempt to abandon laws of Rivers State would definitely be an invitation to anarchy. Nobody wants anarchy. Nobody wants us to go back to the state of nature, where life is brutish, hasty, nasty, and short. We cannot allow that situation where government will break down. And that is why all our laws must be obeyed. Even the governor must obey laws of Rivers State. He cannot cherry pick. The governor cannot cherry pick which law to obey and which one to disobey.
Staying with the local government crisis in Rivers State, the state government has said it is not demanding that security operatives leave the secretariats, as this will help prevent any chaos. While speaking on our breakfast program, The Morning Brief, a former leader of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Tamuno Gogo Jack, said the caretaker chairman, recently sworn in, do not have to work from the local government secretariats, as they can work from anywhere.
Our Rivers State government is not demanding for the vacation of the Nigeria Police Force from the council secretariat. When they were sworn in, the governor directed that they can work from anywhere. That doesn't mean that they were working or they are working from home. In every local government area, we have what they call district offices. There are councils that have about 6-7 district offices. So they can operate from any of the district offices. We're not demanding that the council, the Nigeria Police Force vacate the council secretariats, because you are aware and people rumored that there were attempts to loot the council or there were attempts to foment problems. And therefore, it is in the best interest of the public for them to restore sanity there, because there are people who are truly organizing themselves to fight the Nigerian state. And that I mean, if your tenure has expired and you're refusing to vacate the office is treasonable. So the Nigerian police force is maintaining sanity there.
Right.
The River State government hasn't demanded that they vacate the council secretariat.
Meanwhile, as early as 7:30 this morning, women from Ipo, one of the host communities around the airport, blocked its gates, waving placards, singing, wailing, and even cooking at the entrance. Some of the inscriptions on their banners include, "We demand our citizens' rights," "Ipo women peaceful protest," just to mention a few. Their actions caused the build-up of traffic as passengers couldn't get to the airport. This is the second time this year that the women are protesting with no statement dismissing the allegation or action from the airport management in Rivers State. Away from Rivers politics, members of the Nigeria Labour Congress National Transition Committee have stormed the headquarters of the Labour Party in the nation's capital, Abuja, demanding for the resignation of the national chairman of the party, Mr. Julius Abure. The acting chairman of the Transition Committee, Mr. Abdul Wahid Omar, led members of the Labour Union to the Secretariat, chanting solidarity songs, calling for the resignation of Mr. Abure on grounds that his tenure as chairman of the party has expired. When the officials arrived at the party's headquarters, the gates were locked by security operatives. In an attempt to force their way into the premises, the police fired tear gas to disperse the protesters. Application of instruments of cohesion to end banditry in the Northwest region is being strongly advised by stakeholders attending the preliminary session of the Northwest Peace and Security Summit in Katsina, put together by the Northwest Governors Forum. Dignitaries who attended today's event say the objective is to drive a political will to curb banditry or probably end it in the region, as well as monitor how states navigate the complexities of the politics, people, and power of the industry behind kidnapping. Discussions also centered on how the region can work to foster an environment that promotes socio-economic development and food security. Participants called on international actors to support the region with not only arms and ammunition, but intelligence.
We have reviewed the present security situation in the Northwest, and we've taken stock of all that could happen, and by the special grace of God, there will be new approach in the fight against banditry, terrorism, and other criminalities in the Northwest zone and beyond. We also want you to know that the leadership in northern leadership of Northwest Public equally have an extensive deliberation with development partners and agencies like UNDP and others in the UN system. So we are optimistic that by the special grace of God, things will turn out for good at the end of the day.
The Sokoto state government has denied allegations made by the Muslim rights concern, Murik, that it's planning to unseat His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III. A statement issued by the State Commissioner for Information and Societal Reorientation, Mr. Sambo Bello Damchandi, describes the allegation by Murik as false and baseless. Mr. Plambo adds that the state government holds the Sultanate Council, which has a long-standing historical importance, in high regard and esteem. As part of efforts to mitigate flooding during the rainy season, the Kaduna State Ministry of Environment, in collaboration with other emergency management agencies, have commenced the massive desilting of drainages and rivers, with a call on residents to stop indiscriminate dumping of refuse, especially along the waterways. The State Commissioner for Environment, who flagged off the operation at Mando area in Igabi local government area on behalf of the governor, says the ministry is working on proactive measures to mitigate the impending flash flood earlier predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency.
Annually, Nigeria experiences heavy rains across all the states, and in most cases resulting in flooding that consequently causes significant destruction of lives and property. One of the vulnerable places is Kaduna, which is among the states that will witness massive flooding, as predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency in its 2024 rainy season forecast. To mitigate the situation across identified flood-prone areas, the Kaduna State Ministry of Environment has flagged off the desilting of drainages spanning over 160 kilometers. The exercise, which is supported by the World Bank Agroclimatic Resilient in Semi-Arid Landscape, is on the directive of Governor Uba Sani to ensure that no community in Kaduna is ravaged by flood this year.
Like you know, NIMET has given its prediction that about 31 states are prone to having flood this year. And Kaduna State is one of the states that have been pointed out that we have likelihood of having flood in the state. As a result of this, His Excellency the Governor said we have to first and foremost look at all the proactive measures that we need to take in order to avert flooding in the state. Part of it is sensitization, which all the agencies and MDAs of the government of the state have started doing for the past 2-3 months. Now, because of the peak of the raining season, we decided to come and desilt all the drainages within the city center and the 3 senatorial zones.
This is a collective responsibility. One agency cannot do it alone. It has to be a combined effort, and that is why we are here today, to ensure that we distill all our drainages in Kaduna, to ensure that we have free flow of water or rain when it comes, so that there will not be blockage that will cause any damages to our houses.
The state and national emergency management agencies also harp on the need for residents to see disaster management as everyone's business.
With this kind of effort by the Ministry of Environment, it will mitigate the level of the flooding. So that is to say, there is a kind of expectation, but by this kind of proactive measures, we are certain that if we continue like this, and if the communities come together, listen to the ministry, listen to the partner and agencies that are concerned, we will be able to mitigate entirely high level of this flood we are talking about.
After the seasonal climate prediction by NIMET and annual flood outlook by NISA, it has been predicted that Kaduna State is one of the states that will be affected by flood. So today's activities is one of the activities that mark a proactive measure towards preventing flood, because in the steps of disaster management we have preparedness, we have prevention. So this is one step of preventing flood from happening by desilting the drainages in Kaduna metropolis.
While the Kaduna State Ministry of Environment is playing its part, residents have been advised to ensure proper dumping of refuse to avoid blocking water channels that will cause flooding during the rainy season.
Coming up on the program, the Kebbi State University is set to get more projects, as if the words of the state government is anything to go by. Join us again for details. Welcome back. The Kebbi State government is set to embark on a massive infrastructural development in the State University of Science and Technology, Aliru. The Commissioner for Higher Education, Mr. Issa Tunga, made this known to journalists in Birin Kebbi. Reacting to a press conference by the ASU Kebbi State University of Science and Technology branch, where they threatened an industrial action over some lingering issues, Mr. Tunga says Governor Nasir Idris, in his capacity as an educationist, has placed premium on educational development and would uphold the position of the institution amongst the 10 best state-owned universities in the country.
Since that university was established, no convocation was conducted. But they brought a request that they want to conduct a convocation for the 12 set of graduates that have finished from that university. And they are His Excellency approved 190 million for the convocation. There's also accreditation as it affects the College of Health Sciences. They brought about a request of about 50. There and then he approved 40 million. 40 million for the accreditation of that institution. The ASU University of Cape State University should have wait, at least be patient enough, or they should have contacted me first. They should have contacted me first before going viral, making this write-up over the media. In fact, the government of Comrade Dr. Nasser Idris Karongondo is doing its best to tackle all issues affecting both basic and tertiary institutions as it relates to education.
Still talking education, the senator representing Zamfara West Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Abdulaziz Yari, has offered scholarship to 1,700 indigents. The beneficiaries include orphans and other vulnerable children, amongst others. The move is part of the former governor's bid to encourage and support the development of education in the state. And that's according to the chairman of the Abdulaziz Yari Scholarship Initiative, who addressed to newsmen in Gusau State Capital.
He intends to sponsor 1,700 qualified Zamfara State indigenes to study various courses in various universities in the country. And to do that, he decided to appoint a committee to handle this book. Those sitting with me on my right and my left are worthy indigents of this state, most of them classroom teachers and administrators, as well as university lecturers. Based on their integrity and commitment to education, we decided to saddle this responsibility on them. Their assignment is to identify those qualified Zamfara State indigenous, especially those who are indigent, those who are in dire need of such sponsorship. This decision is born out of this desire to cushion the effect of those families and those parents who would have wanted their children to go to school, but who at the same time, for reasons of inability, could not sponsor their children to school. And that is the essence of this book.
In another part of Zamfara State, a non-governmental organization has built and established 4 safe space centers to serve as a platform for women to discuss gender-based violence issues and provide psychological support to victims, as well as those who have gone through the terrible experience of banditry. The country director of the International Albert Nigeria, Mr. Paul Yalaku, disclosed this during the opening of a 2-day training program for first responders on how to give psychological first aid to victims of sexual gender-based violence in Zamfara State.
The number of gender-based violence in Zamfara State is said to be on the rise due to banditry activities. That's the reason for this 2-day training put together by a non-governmental organization, International Alert Nigeria, to train and equip first responders with essential skills to effectively provide adequate care to victims of sexual gender-based violence in their communities using the safe space centers. The Zamfara State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Habibu Yelwa, commended the NGO for its commitment to tackle SGBV cases and pledged to support the initiative.
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development has all its weight in support of this 2 days training for community first responders.
While the program manager, International Alert Nigeria, spoke on the rationale behind training first responders drawn from the various communities.
These particular events that we're here to have it today and tomorrow. The training for first responders is another milestone that is going to contribute to the efforts in curbing SGBV, especially at community level, with the establishment of safe spaces in all the communities that we are working in Zamfara State. We believe that with this effort, more effort is going to be solicited from key stakeholders, especially at state level and at national level.
This is a journey of 1 year old now, and under this project we have implemented a lot of activities in our communities, ranging from dialogue between community members and head of security agencies, sensitizing community members on how to address barriers in accessing justice. We have also sensitized community members on harmful cultural practices that promote gender-based violence. We have also established or recruited or engaged community facilitators who lead community activities.
The state's chairperson, Federation of International Women Lawyers, Amina Baba, said this project has succeeded in securing the conviction of one perpetrator and 3 other SGBV cases are being prosecuted.
We have other cases, domestic violence, which sometimes we don't even take them to court. Sometimes we used to invite the victims to come to our office so that we can solve it amicably within themselves without taking them. You know, sometimes the ADR is even easier than taken to court. But if the case persisted, then we'll take the matter to before the court. But sometimes we'll just sit with them in our office and resolve the issue amicably, like domestic violence and then other cases of SDVP.
Residents have always been urged to report the cases so that they can get justice, which is the only way peace can be achieved.
About 1,000 suspected drug dealers and traffickers have been arrested in Katsina by the State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency within the year under review. Although most of the suspects arrested were cancelled and released, the command said it has also dislodged a drug party at Shola quarters in Katsina Metropolis and burst a crack cocaine syndicate. The NDLA State Commander, Mr. Hassan Abubakar, made this remark during a briefing ahead of the United Nations International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking.
One of them is the dislodgement of drug parties at Shola quarters for the first time in the history of the state. The second one is busting of a crack cocaine syndicate that is operating between Katsina and Lusama. Sadly, a simple seizure of almost 2,000 outputs of fentanyl injection with a street value of 9,720,000 naira in Futua at its spare parts shop. Then in terms of arrest and seizure, we made an arrest of 1,344 suspects, including women and those briefly counseled and released. And in terms of seizure, as it stands today, we have a seizure of cannabis sativa, 1,161.831 kilograms in our exhibit store. While psychotropic substances stands at 77.0271 kilogram, and others control drugs stands at 8.400 kilograms. Then, by totality, we have 1,390.258 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs. And in terms of prosecution efforts, I am pleased to tell the good people of Katsina State, so far we have conviction, but by taking over today, we have a conviction of 112 suspects at the Federal High Court Katsina.
That's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinwami.